When I was growing up in Bonham, there was a movie theater across the street near the post office. It was a single-screen building with an old-fashioned marquee and was named The American. Often my sister and I were sent there for Saturday morning matinees. By the time I was watching movies there, I don't think they showed first-run movies. I only remember specifically seeing Snow White and Bambi.
Jiminy Crickets. Gosh, gee.
The tickets were $1 each and the popcorn was hot and the butter was immaculate. The velvet curtains were wrinkled perfectly and framed the huge screen beautifully. The speakers popped and there was more than a couple of scratches and burns on the film. I'm sure these reels were 50 years old. Who knows how many brain wraps they suffered. To see new movies, Dad and sometimes Mom would drive us a half hour away to Sherman, Texas. They had a theater with multiple screens, so there were options. We didn't usually have popcorn or candy or soda there. They were expensive. After the show, we'd swing by the McDonald's at Kmart or the Taco Mayo, which is a regional Taco Bell clone.
Taco Mayo. Pays a little, gets so much.
I remember seeing Milo and Otis, Turner and Hooch, Willow, Father of the Bride, Batman, The Freshman, Oscar, Sister Act, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Back to the Future 2, and Joe versus the Volcano.
Take me to the volcano!
It wasn't just kids' movies we watched. Dad let us watch his movies too. We saw rated R movies like The Rookie, Phantom of the Opera, Lord of the Flies, The First Power, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Unlawful Entry, Cliffhanger, Total Recall, and Terminator 2.
Get ready for a surprise!
I almost saw Freddy's Dead, but they were out of the 3D glasses that the movie previews on TV promised, so I doubled back and movie hopped to Terminator 2 with my dad and sister. We didn't do a ton of stuff as a family, but going to the movies was one of them. Always my dad, sister, and me. And if my mom was off of work, she'd join us, until my brother was born. Then she was stuck at home watching The Little Rugrats. Sitting in the dark, eyes glued to the silver screen and experiencing the same stuff for the first time in unison. We did it together. I loved it. It was always dark on our drive home. US Highway 82 was years from being built, so we took State Highway 56 eastbound. I never fell asleep. It's usually impossible for me to sleep in a car or even on a plane. Country music hits like Deeper Than the Holler by Randy Travis, I Sang Dixie by Dwight Yoakam, or Clint Black's A Better Man were the soundtrack as I gazed out the window of my back seat in my dad's two-door silver Firebird. I'd stare at the clouds passing over the moon and imagine there was a highway connecting the continental U.S. to Europe and we were driving to Germany to see my Oma and Opa. If I tried real hard, I could actually believe it during that 30-minute drive that seemed to last hours. Sometimes I'd count the reflector guideposts on the side of the highway. It was just something to do because I couldn't sleep. I didn't know what they were. They just fascinated me. I almost liked the car ride as much as the movie. The radio was on, but that was just background music, not loud. Not obstructing the atmosphere. I love the sound of driving. It's soothing like rain on a tin roof. To me, it's beautiful ambient noise. My imagination or counting combined with the auditory splendor fused into blissful serenity. Whatever problems I had were resolved. All that was relevant was the night and the comfort procured by my sensate mobile solitude. I was alone, yet in the presence of my sister and father, I was comfortable. By the time I was in middle school, The American had been condemned. By the time I graduated college, it had collapsed, sending bricks into the streets of downtown. It was gone like another ancient downtown building, Bewley's Five and Dime, which would burn down a few years later. While I was in high school, a new theater opened in Bonham. My longtime friend Nick worked there for a couple of years. It was the Majestic 6. I'd watch Apollo 13 and that horrible movie Congo back-to-back with my best friend Bryce. When Lucasfilm released the Star Wars Special Edition movies, I'd take my little brother to see them. Just a few years ago, I took my two nephews to see the cartoon movie TMNT as well. I went with my sister and brother-in-law to witness the horror movie event of the summer of 2003, Freddy vs. Jason.
Freddy versus Jason.
Oh my gosh, I loved Freddy and Jason movies 10 years before. It was a dream come true. Because I was older and could see things clearer, it didn't have the same aura and carry the same magnitude as The American or the theater in Sherman. But I'm sure it represented something just as salient to somebody younger than myself. I will always love the movies. I spent 3 years working at Commerce Cineplex in college. I'd meet my wife at a movie theater in 2006. It is true that you can nearly recreate the experience in your home now, but nothing will ever top attending a show in person with those you love as well as complete strangers. Or the smell of theater popcorn, even if it's from somebody else's tub.